I've signed up for dance classes before, more than once. I was excellent at the signing up part. Then class night would come, I'd get comfortable at home, and somehow my two left feet never made it out the door. I'm Jonas, I'm 42, and I wanted my evenings to feel less automatic. So I gave myself a free 3-class experiment: salsa, country line dancing, and one real social dance party. I wasn't trying to become a dancer overnight. I just wanted to find out what might happen if I finally showed up. My life wasn't falling apart. Honestly, it was running pretty well. I worked 9 to 6, I had 2 kids, a good relationship with their mom, and an unusually normal relationship with her husband. We co-parented well, my family liked me, my friends liked me, nobody was staging an intervention. They did think I needed to get out and live a little, and they had a point. Most evenings, I would get home, eat, sit down, and play video games. I like video games. This isn't the part where I blame a controller for ruining my potential. It was just becoming the automatic answer to a question I had stopped asking. What do I actually want to do tonight? I also wanted to be more social. Not because I expected to walk into a salsa class and meet the love of my life between counts 5 and 6. If I met someone someday, great. But that wasn't the assignment. The assignment was change. Could I take one evening that usually looked exactly like the evening before it and make it feel new? I had confidence in most parts of my life. I also had patience. Those felt like useful things to bring with me at 42. My grandmother danced. Swing, tap, musical theater. If there was a stage and a pair of shoes making noise on it, she was interested. What stayed with me wasn't a particular routine. It was her face. Whenever I pictured her on stage, she looked completely involved in what she was doing. Not worried about how the room saw her. Not waiting for the evening to become interesting. She was the interesting part of it. I wanted some version of that feeling. Maybe it was dance. Maybe it was fencing. Maybe I had no idea because I kept researching things instead of trying them. There was only one fair way to find out. I needed to walk into a room where I didn't already know what I was doing. I made the experiment deliberately small and free. 1 beginner salsa class, 1 country line dancing class. Then, I would repeat whichever one gave me the strongest reason to go back. After that, 1 social dance party. I found examples of free community dance programs that paired beginner instruction with social dancing. That removed my favorite respectable excuse. I couldn't tell myself I needed an expensive package before I knew whether I even liked being there. I also changed the scorecard. I did not have to look good. I did not have to become fearless. For the first class, I had one job. Class night arrived, and right on schedule, my home became extremely persuasive. The chair was comfortable. The game was already there. My shoes were somehow giving me the impression that tomorrow would be a much better day to begin a new life. This was the exact point where every previous attempt had ended, so I stopped debating. I put my shoes on, grabbed my keys, and left before the comfortable version of me could file an appeal. The first surprise happened before I learned a step. I walked through the door. The room was bright. People were talking. The instructor started breaking the movement into pieces, and for a few minutes I understood each piece separately. Then music started. The pieces met each other, and my feet appeared to have separate plans. I lost the count. I found it. I lost it again. Nothing terrible happened. That sounds obvious now. It did not feel obvious beforehand. Social anxiety can make an unfamiliar room feel like everybody has paused their own life to evaluate how you entered it. In reality, the other beginners were busy doing what I was doing, concentrating, recovering, and occasionally looking down as if the floor might provide written instructions. I completed the class. I stayed on beat sometimes, and I started one conversation by offering a compliment, which is something I naturally do when I don't know what else to say. It wasn't smooth. It was better than smooth. The second class was country line dancing. Same Jonas, different problem. Instead of trying to coordinate with one partner, I was trying to move in the same direction as a whole group. The good news was that I could follow the people around me. The bad news was that turning the wrong way becomes very clear when an entire room politely leaves without you. I missed a transition and ended up facing a collection of surprised faces, so I smiled, turned around, and caught the next section. That recovery mattered more than getting every step right. At 22, I might have treated a mistake like evidence that I didn't belong there. At 42, I could treat it like information. Wrong direction, make adjustment, keep moving. By the end, I completed a short combination without watching every foot. I also started another conversation. I complimented someone's boots because they looked like they knew what they were doing. Mine were still gathering evidence. The surprise was that line dancing felt social before I had to be social. We were all participating in the same thing. I didn't need a brilliant opening line. I already had a reason to be in the room. 2 classes gave me enough material to tell a decent story and return to my normal schedule. That was tempting, but my experiment had one more class for a reason. Trying something once can tell me whether I survived it. Going back can tell me whether I actually want it. I chose the style that had been the most fun and returned. Before class, I practiced the basic count at home, in short bursts. Nothing dramatic. A few minutes without turning my living room into a rehearsal studio or alarming the furniture. In the 3rd class, the movements were still beginner movements. But they were less foreign. I could look up more often. I recovered faster. I had enough attention left to notice the people around me. That was the first moment I understood the experiment differently. Confidence had not arrived before I acted. It was being assembled from small pieces of evidence after I acted. I had shown up 3 times. Now I had to test it without the safety of a normal class. A social dance party sounded fun when it was a line in my plan. Standing outside one felt different. People inside already seemed to know where to stand, when to join, and what to do with their hands. I briefly considered counting the parking lot as an important cultural experience and going home. Instead, I made the test smaller again. Stay through the beginner lesson. Start 3 ordinary conversations. Complete 1 whole dance with a partner or group. The opening lesson helped. I wasn't walking into completely unstructured motion. I had a count to follow, and a reason to move with everyone else. Conversation number 1 came from asking about the lesson. Number 2 started with another compliment. By number 3, I had stopped treating each interaction like a pass or fail exam. Then the final test started. 1 full dance. I missed a beat early. I recovered. I got ahead of the music, slowed down, and found it again. My partner was patient. I stayed present instead of apologizing for every imperfect step. And then the song ended. That was it. No trophy, no spotlight, no sudden transformation into the mysterious man from every cologne advertisement. I had simply entered a room I used to avoid and completed the thing I came to do. Here were my results. 3 beginner classes, 2 dance styles, 1 social dance party, 3 new conversations, and by the final dance I was on beat more often than I was during the first class. Was I a dancer now? I don't know. Maybe that title takes longer than 3 classes. Was I glad I tried? Absolutely. Dancing didn't solve my life. It didn't need to. My life was already good. What had changed was the assumption that a good life had to keep repeating itself in exactly the same order. At 42, I had patience. I had people who supported me. I had enough confidence to be bad at something in public and come back anyway. Those weren't consolation prizes for getting older. They were advantages I finally used. Maybe I keep dancing. Maybe country line dancing becomes the better fit. Maybe I try salsa again until my feet agree to share information. And maybe eventually I try fencing. The important part is that the next unfamiliar door no longer feels quite as heavy. I spent a long time waiting to find something that would make me look as happy as my grandmother looked when she danced. Now I think that look probably comes after the decision to step onto the floor. So if there's something you keep adding to your calendar and quietly removing, make the first experiment small. Don't ask whether you're good at it yet. Ask whether you showed up.